Alright, y'all, welcome to Ellis Mowers. We have well, y'all see this video in July, but here in April, when I'm filming this, kind of a nice, cool morning. Very cool morning. It's kind of the last cold spat of the year here in the great state of North Carolina. And figured that since I got a lot of rain and whatnot coming over the next few days, people are going to wait until after the rain to come get lawnmowers, which I need to get ready still. So I figured I'd tackle at least one, maybe two of these small projects here. You don't see a lot of two-cycle stuff on my channel. There's a reason why, because I hate doing two-cycle stuff. You think you get them fixed, and then they start acting up again. So we're going to try this out. We have a pair of Troy-built weed eaters here. One of them is a curved shaft, one of them is a straight shaft. The straight shaft, if I can get it running, it's already sold. I'm going to combine it with this blower here and sell it to a guy that bought a riding mower from me. It's the same guy that I traded two Craftsmans for one. That's one of the two that I obtained. The other one's already been sold at the time of this filming. And I actually had to go do a fuel line fix on the one that he bought from me. Luckily, he lives 5 minutes away, but I'll stop rambling. Let's get into this. Put this on my little electronics cart here. Troy built. We're going to do the straight shaft one first. TB32EC. They're all the same. They got the 25cc motor on them. This one might have a 32cc. Hold on a second. I think I checked. Yeah, this was a little 25cc. And this is a TB21EC. It says it's a 27cc. Moving up in life here, huh? Yeah, 2 cc's more. I don't know if that makes any difference, but the average homeowner won't know any different, I don't think. We'll pop it on this side. So what this one is doing, I did test it. I don't like to try and start them on starting fluid and whatever, but just out of, not desperation, but just out of curiosity, I did throw some starter fluid in it when I first got it. Does turn over, it will fire, so that tells me that likely it is okay in terms of compression and whatnot. It's got the easy start feature on it, so you can't really tell if like it's low on compression or whatnot. That's the only thing I don't really like about them easy start ones, is that it's hard to really tell compression wise what you're working with. Let's get into this. I suspect that it's just had some crud in the fuel because it is priming like it's supposed to. So I think the primer bulb's good on it. As you can see it going like right there. So it makes me think it's good. T20 bits, I believe, right here. I actually think I got one right on it. T20 bits. Take this off right here for the air filter. Cover / choke arm. We're just going to break into this carb and see what we've got. Hopefully this won't take too long. I will sit y'all down and we'll get rolling. How about that? I guess a dirty garage is one that's actually being worked out of. I don't know. I try and keep this thing clean, but then I start getting tools and stuff out. Next thing I know, it's just looks like I ain't even done anything. Alright, so let's do this. This looks like it's bringing the whole shebang off here. Might not even try to take the fuel lines off of it, because they are a few years old. They still work fine. They don't have any splits or stuff in them. So, alright, so I've got that. That should pull right off. I see a little bit of gunk in here. It's not too bad. There's the little bit of gunk that I see. Right there. Right there. So now, how do I get in there now? I guess these two primer bulb screws are what keeps this on. So I'll take the two primer bulb screws off here and find my screwdriver that works. Probably say that I hate 2 cycles, and this thing will, I'll just do a quick clean and this thing will probably start right up. Who knows? This is a Walbro carburetor, so that's good. I know on the riding mowers, you prefer a Walbro. So that's good to see, real good to see. It's keeping pressure too, so that I can hear it sucking out here. Alright, so let's see, that gets me off. It's gonna leak a little bit. Looks good on the inside actually. Let me show y'all. Right there, whole diaphragm and everything looks pretty good. Let's see any crud and whatnot in there. Do I see any crud in here? Not necessarily. That jet right there kind of looks like it's a little clogged. So what I might do, I'm trying to be really delicate with these fuel lines because they are a few years old. I don't want them to be breaking on me. That fuel screen looks a little cruddy, so I think it's just got a little gunk in it. I'm gonna take some carb spray, kind of knock all this out real quick. Put it all back together and see if that helps matters. I think it's promising as long as they didn't run it on straight gas, which I don't think they did, considering where this mower came, or where this weed eater came from. Mower. Oh, there we go. Let me just take that right off, actually. Actually, don't know what this is, guys. We got an E-clamp down here. Ain't like a jet or something, is it? Maybe it is. Let's check. I don't work on these enough to really know, to be honest with you. So let's see what we got here, if I can get this E-clamp off. Try not to lose it. There we go. Did it screw in there? Does it just pop out? Oh, I see. That's the throttle. That's the throttle, so I don't have to worry about that. So that's the throttle. We're not going to worry about that. Probably too big of a pliers to try and get this back on. There we go. All right. A little bit of gunk right there. That's the whole diaphragm area. I'm going to take the 4 screws off for that. We can just take a look at it real quick while we got the thing off, right? Y'all saw how I took it off, so we'll look at it, and then I'll just put it back on and we'll test it out, just for time's sake. Number 2. Number 3. And last but not least. Be really careful trying to pry this open. Don't want to mess up any gaskets. Okay. Diaphragm looks good. I don't really want to take it off because I don't want to mess it up. I really want to mess it up, yeah. Alright, I'll put this back on. What I'll do, y'all kind of see what the deal is. I'm thinking that jet right there is clogged up, which is causing no fuel issue. So I'm going to put a little piece of wire through there. I'll get these screws on. I'm going to put a little piece of wire through there. And then I'm going to throw some carb spray on it, and we'll pop this thing back on. Just put the screws back in real quick. Pop the screws back on here. Let me show y'all. Let's see if I can find the wire. There it is. Got the little wire here. So there's my jet. I'm pretty sure it's clogged. Pretty sure this is where the jet is on these things. Like I said, I have not ever done one of these before. Well, maybe not. Kind of looks like it though. Alright, let me go ahead and button these screws and such back up, figure out what the deal is with all this, and I'll let y'all know. Alrighty, y'all, got it back together. I am not 100% sure that that little area that I thought was a jet is a jet, because I didn't really see a hole or anything in it. Seems the primer bulb is priming a lot better right now, so let's just, hey, we ain't got nothing to lose, right? Let's just see what we got. It's got gas in it, so. Doesn't seem like she wants to go. Probably primed it way too much. But you can hear it. You throw a little bit of that in there. Try to kick over. See what kind of spark we're getting from this thing. The primer bulb's priming great on it. Not seeing any sparks, so it's not a good thing. You see where it tries to start a couple of times, but yeah, I don't see any spark coming out of it, so we know at least the plug is an issue, and we hope it is only the plug. I know this one will start, and I know this one will kick over, so I will take the plug out of this one, and I'll show y'all that the plug on this one works. If so, I might try and venture to get this one rolling, and I might, I'll have to see what I can do. I might take this shaft off of this one and put it on that one. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm going to test the spark on that one. I'll be right back. Alright, so here's what I figured out. I've got a third one out here too, just for the heck of it, you know. I got this one for free as well. So let me show you. I don't like doing this very much, but you know, you spray card cleaner and stuff in it and see if they run. This Boland's will work. This Boland's will run on card cleaner, as you can see. Same thing with the Troy build over here, both of them. It just sprays it out the side. This one right here, I don't know if it's fouling plugs or something, but I did notice whenever I popped it in here that there was no air filter in here. And whenever I had it running, it was smoking, so I'm sure that the rings are shot in that thing, and that's why it's probably not getting any compression. So, I'm turning to this attack now. I'm going to see if I can salvage this Boland's and get it to where it'll work right. This carburetor is a little bit different. Now, this carburetor needs a couple of fuel lines, which I might decide to rob. Which one does it need? It needs this one, doesn't it? Yeah. So it needs that fuel line right there. When it runs over, and it runs around up to the tank. The other two fuel lines are solid at this point. It needs all fuel lines, but for the purposes of trying to get this thing running, let's just see what we can do here. Pop this fuel line out, so we know it goes through there, over around up to the tank here. I don't know if I have any weed eater fuel lines here. We're gonna look. I know I had some at one point. I'll have to check my box. Take this fuel line off in the back here. That was easy enough. So you can see it's pretty rotted and corroded. Look inside the tank to see if those are okay still. Actually, you can't really. Yeah, they're still okay. So, worst case, I just pop a fuel line off of this bad boy. But I want to see if I have some fuel line in my box here, which I think I do. That'll fit this. And I'll pop a fuel line on it and see if this thing will actually put some gas in it and see if this thing will actually kick over for us. If it does, I might do a shaft swap, because this is 31 cc's right here as opposed to 25 to 27, so it should give them a slight bit more power as well. I see some fuel line down there. I don't know if it's going to be big enough. Probably not. Let me keep investigating and see what fuel line I got hanging around, and I'll put a line on it. Remember, it goes from the bottom down here up to the tank, so it'll need to be a decent run, and I'll see what I got. Alrighty, so continue with my plan of attack with the fuel lines here. I went to my local hardware store and got 3 feet of fuel line. I've already replaced one of them, which went from right here over through into the gas tank, and it was priming great, but the others are so brittle that I'm replacing them too, obviously. So I'm just popping them, trying to pop the brittle ones out of where they were. All you gotta do is just kind of take a screwdriver or something and knock them off. So we established that this thing runs. I don't know if I showed that on camera. I don't think I did. But so this fuel line goes from right here through right there into the primer bulb right here. So I'm going to replace that one next. If I can get this off there. There we go. I'll set y'all down. Hopefully y'all can see me as I do this. I just got crap everywhere right now. Trying to get stuff. I'm at the point, at the time I'm filming this video, I'm at the point where I'm trying to get stuff out that's already sold. And that's not a bad thing. Trying to get stuff out that's already sold. And then I'm going to attempt to get stuff out that is not already sold. So it's a good place to be, I guess, but darn, you feel like you can't never keep up. So I've inserted it in there. I'm just taking the feed, the whole line, and feeding it through. And now, let's see. I don't know how the fuel lines are in the tank, but I would presume that they're not in great shape either. Let's see. Let's cut it off. Right about there. Priming good. Now, line number 3. Line number 3 is going to be the fun one. Actually, it's probably not. Oh, this ain't going to be bad at all. Just be easy. Just pull it out. Oh boy, oh, it's leaking like a sieve. Ugh. I love 2 cycles. So like nobody ever. See if I can pull this out without screwing it all up. Don't know if we're gonna be able to, guys. This is not gonna be fun. See if these things will get down there and fish it out of the gas tank. I don't think got enough. Get down there too. Oh, maybe not. Maybe so. Hold on. Hold the phone, everybody. Hey, hey, hey. There it is. All right, we got it out. So now, let's see if we can get these things in. Getting them in is always the fun part. I have been told of some tricks here that we're going to try. One of them is cut in line at kind of like a 45. That way you can get some of it up there. Insert some of it through and then be able to fish the rest of it. Is that going to work? Did I cut it at a good enough angle? Not yet. That's why you buy plenty of it. It's $1.29 a foot. Might as well. Alright, let's see if that'll work. Yes, sir. Just got to put it up there a little bit. A little bit too much. There we go. Alright. Y'all are going to find this surprising too. As little as I work on 2 cycles, I don't think I have ever done this before. Put new fuel lines in a weed eater. Crazy to think, huh? A lot of firsts going on here, right? So, there's the fuel line. Boom, number 3. Perfect. Let's get the gas cap on. Still got some gas in it too, I think. And now, how about I'll just turn that around and we'll show you that it runs. I don't think I showed you that it ran earlier, so let's show you. Oops. Prime Gold's got plenty of juice in it. Prime and excellent. Probably got too much gas in it. Probably fouled the plug. Make a liar out of me. It's gonna make a liar out of me, isn't it? All right. better than the piece of POS weed eaters I got right here. This thing probably crank up now. So when it cranks, it just smokes quite a bit. So, all right. Well, let me put this cover back on, and then the next step, I'm going to go ahead and change the shafts out on them. Shouldn't be terribly difficult, but we're going to go ahead and do that while we're at it. So, yeah, fun ensues after I put the cover back on. We'll get to that next. Alright, so here we are. I'm taking the head off of this one, taking the shaft off of it as well, and then putting the new shaft on that engine right over there. So first off, I just kind of want to show y'all what I do here. You just take off the 6 screws, 4, 2 in the back, 4 in the front for this throttle, and after that, we'll try and take the shaft off. Should be relatively easy to do. T20 bits right here. That gets your throttle off. We don't need any of that at all. So next is the actual shaft portion of it. Got one T20 right here, and then we got another one that's a little bit bigger. Right here, not quite that big. That's kind of your main shaft screw. It's got a nut on the other side as well. And in theory, it should slide off. In theory. There we go. So let me show you. I don't know if y'all can see it. I'm trying to hit my element over there. There's the shaft on the inside of it. And then there's your square. These are fairly universal as well, so this should fit on that curved shaft one. Like I said, we'll see. Give me just a second. It's the same, length and all that. And I'm going to do the same thing to the curved shaft, and then I'll rejoin y'all to show you how I put these back on, as long as it works. So this is like the perpetual experiment. Here's a bunch of shafts. Long story short, the shaft on this Boland's is a little bit different because it's more inset than the shaft on these Troy-Bilts, as you can see. And there's no real way to take the body of this one weed eater off and then put that body and stuff on. So in an experimental phase, because these are the quick change shafts and whatnot, I have put the straight shaft onto this engine, and I want to see, I've also changed the little air filter housing on it as well, because I have an air filter for this one, and I just have to find it. I have an air filter and an air filter cover for it. Granted, it was smoking a little bit, but I'm wondering if I put the air filter and the air filter cover on it, if it's going to run a little bit better. So that's kind of where my thought process is now, because I can get this thing to start and run. It's just a matter of it continuing to run after I start it. I don't know if it like loses compression after a certain amount of time or whatever. So let me find my other air filter, and I will see what I can do. I'll put this one back together too. See if I can make 2 out of 3, so to speak. So let me find that, and we'll continue on. And I'm just going to test this one to see if I can get it to where it will actually run right. You never know, it might just need some run time, get some of that old gas and whatnot out of there that it potentially could have had, varnish. And this thing might run all right. We'll find out, but this is probably the only way I'm going to be able to get a straight shaft weed eater out of this. We'll see. I'll keep you updated. So while I was putting this Bollins back together, I wanted to show you a little nifty trick that I found to make sure the throttle goes right again. It looked like there was a plate inside that was broken, so all I did was take a drill and drill it through the plastic on each side and did a bolt, and now that throttle's working great. So that's kind of a repair that needed to be made anyways, because the throttle was a little on the wonky side. So now I'll put everything back together on this. We'll have at least one good weed eater, curved shaft. It'll be worth 40 bucks with new fuel lines and whatnot. Might even be able to squeeze 50 out of it, who knows. They're not worth more than about $40. Again, $5 in fuel line, it's free. Tinkering around with it because I don't really do a lot of 2-cycle stuff, so just having a little fun with it. See if I can get it going. So I'm gonna put these back together, and then I'm still trying to find that air filter. When I find that air filter, I'll put it back. I'll put it on to that one, and I'll test that one out and see if I can get it to where it'll actually run stable. So we'll find out what we can do here. Just wanted to show you that little trick while I was doing it. Alrighty, let me provide some closure to this 3 weed eater video here. I kept trying and trying with these other 2. You see they're kind of in parts and shambles at this point. But I kept trying with these. I could not get them to run right. They, like I mentioned earlier in the video, this one right here I think has got some sort of bad issues with it where it won't even crank. This one right here cranks so that it was smoking and it wouldn't really throttle up and such. I know it's getting good fuel and everything. So I just had to, cut my. It's not really cutting your losses if they're not able to be saved, but I'm not going in there and putting, honing out the cylinder and putting new rings and stuff in a weed eater that ain't worth 40 bucks. So listed the parts for 20, because the attachments. This has the quick attach system. The attachments are good on it, so I figured I could just sell the attachments for maybe like 20 bucks. And yeah, I'm about to go deliver them or meet the guy for them just up the street here. So that's kind of the closure to that. The other Bollins curved weed eater sold already. So it's sold for $40, which is about all you can get out of them things. So hopefully y'all enjoyed my journey of all 3 of these mowers, or excuse me, all 3 of these weed eaters. There's a reason why I don't like working on a lot of 2-cycle stuff, because I spent probably a good 3 hours on them, and all I got is one good, weed eater out of it. So anyways, you learn. You never know about these weed eaters, though. You really never do. That's why I don't buy customer return 2-cycle equipment like I buy the customer return lawnmowers that you see. So until the next video, I just want to give y'all some closure to this, but you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Ellis Mowers09 to see what I've got going on, and I'll catch you on the next video. See you then.